Welcome back. In case you haven't noticed, mushrooms are having a real moment right now. So what is it that fascinates us about these fungi?
In Mushrooming, the Joy of the Quiet Hunt, award-winning artist, naturalist, and educator Diane Borsato shows us how mushrooming can radically expand our perspectives, connect us to nature, and quietly enrich our lives. Please welcome to the show, Diane Borsato.
Thanks for having me.
So cool.
Such a joy.
Now, I know I said it backstage, but I love what you're wearing. I love your top. I'm so into how this all goes together. It's a real style moment. Okay, so you're an artist, obviously, and a professor, and your work has been, you know, from bees to rocks to clouds, and now mushrooms, and you're even a mycologist, which I learned means you know about mushrooms. So here you are, and we would love to know, you know, what fascinates you about mushrooms?
Well, it's hard for me to understand if everyone isn't fascinated about mushrooms. You know, they can be colorful as jewels. They're sort of sculptural and weird. They can be delicious. You know, you can put them on your pasta. And of course, it's so nice just to be in the woods and look for them.
I'm one of the many people who fell in love with mushrooms. I mean, through you, but also just like everyone else, during the pandemic, I've spent a lot of time in the fall with my family going around and seeing them. So since fall is a great time, and I think a lot of people during Thanksgiving will be looking for them, what should we keep in mind if we go out into the woods?
Yes, of course, everyone knows that some mushrooms are poisonous and some are certainly deadly. And so it does take a little experience, you know, definitely read some field guides and walk around with other people who are more knowledgeable. You know, there are a lot of lookalikes to edible mushrooms, and, you know, it's perfectly safe to look at them, enjoy them, the same way people go birding. And also you can handle them as long as you don't ingest them, and, you know, keep the kids and pets away too.
Yes,
which is why I'm glad I'm asking the next question, because we were doing this with my family last around this time in the fall, and we were at my parents' farm, and my daughter and I were walking around, and we found this massive puffball mushroom, and it even had like this, look at this, okay, so, and you're like, that's so cool, and it even was close to Halloween, and it has this very cool, like it had a face on it. Anyway, I put this video up exactly like this on Instagram, and everybody went wild, and they said, Melissa, it's a puffball, you can eat it. And then I was like, can I? I might die. So could I have eaten it?
Well, you know, you probably shouldn't take advice just broadly from the internet.
You're right.
A picture of a mushroom.
Good point.
But also, I would say, you know, giant puffballs are among some of the easier ones to learn. So I would say if it's bigger than a cantaloupe, like really big, and pure white throughout, it probably was a giant edible puffball. You know, when they start to mature and get full of spores, kids like to kick them and play soccer with them. And then puffs of spores come out. But they're beautiful just to see one. It's sort of like the moon fell from the sky, you know, into your yard. And
it really was. Yeah, it was very, very special. We did leave it at the end of the day, by the way. Okay, so it is time to play a little game that we are going to call Deadly or Delicious, okay? So we're gonna go through, I love that. We're gonna go through the common name for a species of mushroom. We're all gonna try to guess what category they fall in. Now, audience, you're gonna join in on this game as well. So we're gonna get started. The first one is called Preserved Black Truffle. Preserved Black Truffle, okay? So is this deadly or is it delicious?
Come on.
Okay, that's pretty unanimous, and of course you're right.
It's delicious?
It's very delicious. You know, I tried to get one. I tried to get one. I thought I might bring it to the show, and so I called around, and they quoted me $600 for one.
Oh, wow.
Little fungus. Of course, they're collected in Italy, you know, by dogs and by pigs in Spain and in France, because truffles are said to smell like the sex hormones of a female pig, as well as like the sweaty armpits of men. And they're aphrodisiacs. And so you can see they're just sort of bodily, and they smell like pheromones. And
I'm not gonna lie, I'm glad you didn't bring it in.
They're very precious.
They're precious.
Gastronomic treasures. Yeah.
If you say so. Okay, next up, we are going to go to this. The fly are agaric.
That's all right.
Is it deadly or delicious? It sounds deadly.
Sounds deadly. Yeah.
You can't say it, you can't eat it, right?
Very astute audience. Definitely don't eat it.
It's deadly?
You know, I don't know too many people who've died from it, but it's definitely very toxic. It makes you hallucinate and throw up. And I read an account of a woman who said she fell into the kind of sleep you go into before a colonoscopy and woke up wearing one shoe when she. And so this, of course, is more of a beautiful mushroom, you know, more just to admire. In the West, they're red and white like this, and in the East Coast here, they're more yellow and orange. But it's the iconic Alice in Wonderland sort of makes you feel larger and smaller. It's more of a beautiful mushroom to admire from a distance.
We got you. Okay, how about dog stinkhorn? I mean, this is, oh, wow, it's quite a specimen. I'm gonna go with...
Yeah, this is actually Gwen is right. You're right. They are edible.
They're edible?
They're edible. You know, stinkhorns. Yeah, this is the surprising one. So definitely they're edible. Some cultures do dry them and eat them in the egg stage, but they're also called the devil's dipstick for some unknown reason. And they absolutely reek. Like, when you have a stinkhorn growing in your yard, you know, people go wild trying to figure out the source of the stench, and they call plumbers, they call the fire department because they just smell like rotting flesh and garbage, and so they're made to attract flies, you know. But in a certain stage, they are edible.
Okay, last one, deadly or delicious? I don't know where we're going with this. Okay, anyway, this one is called, I believe, is a morels.
Oh, delicious.
Deadly or delicious?
Those are my favorite.
Yeah, I'm just.
Yeah.
Oh, you actually have seen this before?
Oh, I've eaten. I love them.
Oh, okay,
and I'm alive, so we're okay, right?
You know what? Be careful. 'Cause this was a trick question. The morel, that is a true morel on the left, the yellow morel with the pitted honeycomb shape.
Yes.
And the one on the right is a false morel. And so if you collected and ate that, it could be deadly. In fact, it's more of a convoluted, irregular sort of brain. And those ones are toxic. So just to remind you what happens if you get your mushrooms wrong, it does take some experience. Yeah.
Oh, Diane, this was so much fun. Thank you so much for your memorable musings on mushrooms. So good. For everyone watching, the book is called Mushrooming: The Joy of the Quiet Hunt. And good news for our audience, you're all going home with your very own copy today.
Hey there, wasn't that great? Do you know where you can find some equally good content? Our YouTube page. It's filled with discussions, debates, and some laughs. Head there now, like and subscribe.